I want to dig a little deeper into the suite of the actual services so that people understand what's focused maybe on the parents and on that coaching, and where the collaboration might exist both between you and with the children themselves. So if you could walk us through what you're offering, I think that would be really helpful for parents to hear about.
Sure. Well, I think in order to kind of break it down just a little bit, to put some organization, because as you said, things are changing so much, just to give a little structure to this process, we've decided to look at 3 different particular areas. And one is really just skill building. So when we tend to think of skills as like K through 3rd grade, when you're thinking about learning how to read and learning how to write and learning how to do math, really automating those skills. Of course, those skills do continue through 4th to 12th grade, but it's really the time when they have to get those foundational skills down. So one of the areas that we would look at is, are the skills progressing as they should be? You know, it's harder, I think, in this environment for teachers to assess, you know, how the students are doing at times. It's also harder for parents to assess. You know, the kids may not really be understanding what's required of them. So one of the things we would do is just to kind of step back and provide a bridge between, you know, the demands of the curriculum, what the kids are doing, and what the parents are seeing. A second area is really looking at, are they making connections? So we tend to think of this in kind of the 4th grade through the 12th grade. You know, are they making connections to the material, you know, to the outside world, to their own thoughts and ideas, and really to try to assess, is this happening? And then also perhaps help parents, like, what are some ways that we can support this kind of outside the Zoom, the world of Zoom? And then the third is really, how engaged are they in this process? I think that's one of the things that we're finding is, you know, Carol and I have talked about, is the level of engagement is not quite there. They want to just kind of do the work and move on. So I think those are really the 3 areas that we're going to look at and really try to assess and come up with kind of where the student is in each of those levels, and then problem solve and try to find some specific recommendations that we can make for both parents and students in those 3 areas. Carol?
Thanks for that. Yeah.
It seems to be what's happening, what I'm seeing with kids anyway. It seems to be a one and done. It's like, I want to get the work, get it done, hand it in. It doesn't have to do with quality. It doesn't have to do with learning. It just has to do with getting that assignment in. In many of the schools in K through 6, the kids don't have homework, but for the kids who don't finish their assignments, they have to finish them as homework, and they don't have anybody to ask. So that's also just another problem, and parents do come into the picture. One of the things I think that's most important, I know during my training at the Semel Institute, one of the things that I was told to do is, when I did an evaluation, I needed to find out what the child could do. The person who trained me said, all these parents know what their children can't do. You need to find out what they can do, and you need to tell them what their children can do. So we really come from that strengths model, where all of us use our strengths to help with our areas of weakness. What we plan on doing is, we will, during a complimentary 15-minute consultation, we'll problem solve and determine how we can be most helpful to you and your family. Following this, families will complete a brief form so we can clarify your goals, and we can look at the strengths and challenges to determine what could be most useful for your family. We're still doing evaluations and virtual interventions in addition to these consultation services.